hello there, gorgeous. Welcome back to the Get Up and Glow podcast. I'm your host, Madison Haynes, and if no one has told you today, you are a hot girl. You are doing great things. Welcome to the podcast where you're going to glow up, create your dream life, and essentially just be the best version of you and feel like that girl in sustainable and realistic ways. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. If you are a returning listener, I love you. We're besties. Welcome back. It's been a while. And in today's episode, we're switching things up a little bit. In today's episode, we are going to be talking all about relationships. So when to dump him, how to find a high quality man, what to look for in a long-term partner, and I'm doing things a little bit fun, like a little hot girl twist, because I'm not like that boring commentary. I always want to add a little bit of life into my episodes. So here is the tea. I'm going to give you the cliff notes of everything you can do to level up your dating game and find the highest quality person possible. How to find healthy relationships, and I'm going to have a little fun feature of things I would absolutely swipe left on. And for those of you who are not in a relationship, do not exit this video or this podcast, because hear me out. I'm going to include self-love tips to increase your confidence and become the best version of you. And regardless of if you're in a relationship or not, these tips are so important because they're all about healing a relationship with yourself, how to keep your independence in a relationship when it also can apply to friendships as well. And the main thing is also just going to be how you can focus on you and how that is going to attract the best person possible for you. So if you're not in a relationship, or if you are, this episode is for you and you need to listen to it. Please, girlies, this is going to be like, you're going to walk away feeling so good. You're going to be like, wow, this is great. Hopefully, we shall see. I've been in a relationship for about 4.5 years now. I have been in many long-term relationships prior to this one. This one obviously is my, I'm very happy. This is going to be, hopefully, my future husband. And I've learned a lot of things along the way, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to spill all of them and just expose myself for your pleasure, and so you can learn from my mistakes as well and just not make the same ones. And on the Get Up and Glow podcast, we are all about sharing glow up tips. So if you're looking for the surface level, like fun, girly, pink glow up tips, head on over to my TikTok, which is at the Get Up and Glow podcast. I post every single day, and I post if you were like a pink loving Elwoods girly, you'll be obsessed. I post glow up tips. I have actually daily vlogs. So if you're interested in seeing my content on a daily basis in short form, head on over to the TikTok. I'm currently doing my 12-day glow up challenge. I'm leaving for Punta Cana in 9 days now. And I want to be the hottest version of myself, the best version of myself, the healthiest and happiest version of myself possible before going. So I'm in the process of getting my life together, getting my affairs in order, glowing up, getting my hair done, all the little things I do to be my elite best version of myself before a trip, because it's just not sustainable to look like that hot all the time, unless it was your full-time job, which I would love it to be. My full-time job sitting and looking pretty. I mean, that's okay. I'm a smart woman, 100%. But if given the opportunity, I would 100% love to bask in the sun all day with a Mai Tai and sun tanning, at least to an extent. Maybe you'll get bored of it eventually, but regardless, if you are interested in that fun glow up content, head on over to the Get Up and Glow TikTok. I post daily there, and I post a lot of glow up tips too. So if you're looking for just new ways to get motivated to become more organized or have elevate your appearance, you'll love that TikTok. Also, thank you so much for all of the reviews. People are starting to share my podcast on Instagram, so I get to see your faces, which is so cool. And reading your reviews on Apple Podcasts just make my heart so happy. So thank you all so much for all of your support. You're making my dreams come true. I've been wanting to be a content creator since I was 12 years old with buck teeth, listening to Mac Barbie 07 and Juicy Star 07, and I have tried to make it as a YouTuber for years, and then I would start and stop, but no, in the beginning of this year, I had a mission, and I wanted to make a space for the self-development women who want to improve themselves, want to work on themselves, and want that deeper level connection, just in terms of self-elevation and discovery. But I also wanted to include those fun, feminine glow up tips and the tips on feminine energy, because I think that is so important, and it's so important just to be a happy woman. And it's not really talked about a whole lot, especially in Hollywood. I find they demonize femininity, ultra femme, the pink girly girls can't be these smart career women. And I'm here to tell you that if you find that that's not a space for you, and you find yourself being a very stereotypically feminine, but you also want to pursue a career and all of these other things with your life, and you just can't find a space for you, that space is here. This community is for everyone. I want it to be a safe, happy, fun space where you can go and listen to my podcast when you're getting up and getting ready for the morning and glowing, hence the title. And I hope I create that for you. And seeing your feedback and support just warms my heart so much. So if you haven't done so yet, follow me on the Get Up and Glow Instagram, and I will respond to you because we are besties. Like, I feel like I'm actually talking to you right now. I am. Hey, what's up, girl? How are you? You're looking so hot today. Anyways, let's get right into the podcast. Okay, without further ado, relationship tips. Let me tell you, girls, it starts with you. First and foremost, you need to build confidence. You can't attract or even remotely try to start dating, especially find your partner that you want to be with for the rest of your life, if you are not confident in who you are. Now, hear me out. Nobody truly knows who they are. I think I know who I am, but that who I am now will change in a month. It will change in a year. It's going to drastically change in 5 and 10 years. We are always changing our opinions when we discover new things. We learn more things about ourselves, so you will fully never know who you are. And it's truly just an ongoing journey of getting wiser and changing. Life is about change, but I'm not saying you need to feel like you 100% have your life together, because we never will truly all have it together. In some moments, yes, in some moments, no. What I'm saying about confidence and knowing who you are is knowing what you want, knowing what you deserve, and being confident enough to not settle for less. Have a good relationship with yourself and show yourself self-love. Take time to do the things you want, learn boundaries, learn how to say no nicely when you need to, and just take time to just pamper yourself and treat yourself and just do things for you and not always be serving everyone else at your expense. You need to own who you are. Now, this is a struggle for a lot of women, but by owning who you are, I mean knowing what you want and going out and getting it, whether that be a career, whether that be whatever outfit you want to wear. Even if it's I want to go on my vacation and post a bikini pic, but I feel self-conscious. Girl, throw away that Facetune app and flaunt it, because I can promise you, not only are you going to feel better, but other people will pick up on that confidence. If you are someone who's okay, it's time to take a vacation photo, and you're in your bikini and you're feeling self-conscious and you're hunching over and you're trying to cover up your stomach, it's going to draw attention to the fact that you're insecure about it, which is okay. But girl, flaunt it, put that one leg out, put your hand on your hip and smile and rock it. And that confidence is going to be more attractive. You're going to feel good because you're going to teach yourself this is who I am and I love it. And then other people are going to be I admire that confidence. And if anyone else even is remotely judging you, then that is not your person, And I find that even my partner, Zachary, dated me at my heaviest weight. I was struggling when he first met me. And he thought I was just as beautiful then as I am now after 4.5 years of working on myself and glowing up. And that is the partner you want. You want to attract that partner not because of what you look like, but because they love you for you. So be confident and don't stress so much about those details and just own who you are, because if you own who you are and you're being your 100% authentic self, that's going to attract not only better friends, not only make you happier, but that person who is meant for you is going to come in, see who you are right up front, and either run in the other direction and then good riddance, he wasn't for you or she, or you're going to find that partner that's going to be the one for you, whether it be there's something you learn from, the thank you next type of situation, or it be the one. Finally, just do not get into a relationship yet if you do not love yourself. Like the wise RuPaul once said, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love anybody else? Can I get an amen? It's been a while since I've listened to Drag Race, but I remember that stuck with me because it is so true. And I know loving yourself can be very hard for some people, but I think if you are not there yet, you shouldn't try to be in an actual romantic relationship with somebody, because you should work on that relationship with yourself first, because I do not want you to have a damaged, an unhealed version of yourself, or you're not fully healed, you don't love yourself, because then you could attract that wrong person who's going to treat you badly. And because you don't yet know what you deserve and what you're capable of doing, you're going to end up being Hopefully not, but I find a lot of women get trapped in relationships where they could do better. Someone's not treating them well. You're not at your highest self. And then you fall in love with that person, and it's really hard to leave, especially if you don't love yourself enough. Because in a lot of relationships, especially when you get comfortable, it takes a lot to own it and be like, you just are not the person for me. It's like so difficult. But the only thing often is when you realize, like in terms of like when the relationship isn't working out and being confident and capable enough to leave, is knowing that like you love that person, but you love yourself more. So I think loving yourself is such an important aspect, like the very first step before you actually want to get into anything remotely serious with somebody. Okay, so let's pretend we're on Tinder. What qualities in a person or in a guy am I absolutely going to swipe left on? Let me tell you. Things I'm going to swipe to the left on. Number 1. Okay, well, technically you've already, and I don't use Tinder, okay? But I added number 1 on the list is asking for your Snapchat, because I'm mentally swiping to the left on you. If you go up to me and you say, what is your Snapchat? Red flag, girly, run in the direction. Do not give out your Snapchat to any guy who asks for your Snapchat first. Please, no. Big red flag. Unless he is like a hottie and you just know that like it's not gonna, you're okay with it never going anywhere. Okay, but like for me, I personally do not want to invite anyone into my space, my mind, or my body who is not worthy of me. So if someone's like, I want your Snapchat, girl, no, red flag. Swipe to the left mentally, or like if you've already was swiped to the right on Tinder and he asks you for that instead of your number, just immediately no, like goodbye. Okay, picture of his car. Like you know the ones, the like flex right there, or him wearing like all like decked out in brands. I'm swiping to the left. To me, that shows he's not serious, or like he's trying to overcompensate for something, or maybe just our values are aligned. So if like he has a photo like that, it's just a no immediately. Okay, unpopular opinion, but photos of abs, I'm swiping to the left. Absolutely not. It's different if you are on a vacation and it's an innocent photo with like friends or even of yourself, because okay, like I see girls like on their big vacation, whatever, like posting with their bikinis. I do that too, and I'm in a relationship, which is an unpopular opinion, but that could be a whole other episode, like thirst traps. Are they okay or are they not okay? And what defines a thirst trap as a thirst trap? But regardless, like you know the ones where they're in the gym like pulling up their like, I was gonna say dress, pulling up their shirt with like their 6-pack abs. I'm just like, nah, I don't know. It shows that they're a little too into themselves, and I just don't want to deal with that. Swiping to the left, it's not worth my time to even figure that out. Okay, another thing is if I instantly know that he participates in activities that conflict with my morals, I just can't do that. For instance, like smoking cigarettes, I can't. My dad smokes, and when he got with my mom, he promised her he was gonna quit, and he still smokes years later. And I love my dad, bless his heart, but I don't want to fall in love with someone who's gonna do that to themselves, because I personally couldn't. I know you can't control what illnesses people get as you age, but it would really hurt me because I am such a strong self-development girl that and I do things, I drink alcohol, and that's not good for me, but that's just one of my things. I don't think I could be around all the time, like a consistent smoker who's not willing or actively trying to quit. But that being said, that is my hard no, but what is your hard no's? What morals do you have, or qualities that you have, or habits that someone else has that you cannot invite into your space because it's either going to make you anxious or just conflict with your beliefs, cause additional stress for you? Figure out what your hard no's are and don't compromise on them. I know people, you might meet someone who's a really good guy, and he's just does this one thing that's a hard no, but everything else is good. To some extent, I feel like there's so many people out in the world, and I personally believe that there's so many different versions of love out there that you could find for yourself, that this guy may be the one that you do love, but you might have a stronger, more deeper connection with someone who does genuinely check off a lot of your metaphorical boxes, which I don't really like saying, but that is more aligned with you and your values, you to your core on a spiritual level, rather that be whatever type of spirit you believe in, or a higher power, the universe, that other person's out there for you. So don't waste your time, even though someone is pretty good, that's one really big if it's an ick, just don't waste your time with it. Another thing, if I would swipe left mentally or literally on somebody, if they couldn't keep up a conversation, as someone who, I literally have a podcast, but if I got out in the real world in a big setting, I get so nervous. And I really like the fact that Zachary, my boyfriend, is able to take over in a lot of conversations and lead us. So it makes me feel more comfortable. It's easygoing. Even when we first started dating, he really directed the conversations, and I respected that. that. I thought that was very attractive when a guy can initiate that with you, plan the dates, communicate that he is into you, communicate his intentions and whatnot, and just not even general, just communicate in general to you, like, this is my day, this is how I'm feeling, I'm upset when, or what, like, that is so nice. So if a guy is like, if you're like, well, what do you want to do? I don't know, like, well, what do you want to do? We could go anywhere, it doesn't matter, let's chill. Like, I'm too old, I'm young, I'm 24, but I can't deal with that anymore. And finally, if he shows no ambition, if he just wants to chill 24/7, does not want to like better himself or his career, he's just more than happy to sit there in the basement all day long, like playing video games and watching TV, that's a no for me. And I don't know if you ladies feel the same, but I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a self-development girly, and us self-development girlies probably want to do things with your life. Like, you probably want to go out and go on hikes or go and explore the world, go to the city, like enjoy, like even go on a little hot girl walk, whatever that may be. I feel like we are girls on the move, and even when we are relaxing, we're relaxing for a purpose, to like recharge our social batteries, or it's from a premise of like, or purpose of self-love. And like, I feel like women like us struggle with the types of people who just don't want to do anything out of just like sheer laziness. And like, if you catch that vibe, it's not going to be a match. So instantly I know, like, you're not even going to get a first date. Okay, let's do the swipe rights, because on this side of the podcast, I genuinely love men. I feel like there's good men out there. My dad is amazing. I have a great grandfather. My boyfriend is the best man alive, and his father is a great example of another good man. And there's a lot of men you can swipe right on. So I think like a good perception of going into dating is like not thinking all men suck. I know that's a super unpopular opinion, but if you are negative about it and you're putting that energy out there saying all men suck, men are horrible, they're not nice, like blah blah blah, then you're gonna attract men that aren't nice, and all men will suck because you believe that they suck. But if you think there is good men out there, like a good man will come, like men are great, I'm gonna find a man that is exactly who I want to be. And again, like, man, because I am straight, but like, if you believe that there's someone out there for you, then you eventually will attract them and you will find them. But if you are looking for the negatives, you will attract negativity. And I believe that, and I always had a positive mindset on that aspect. And I've always believed in true love and like in that like a romantic, like fairy tale side of things. I'm a hopeless romantic, and I found it. I'm 24, but I'm hoping that when I'm 80, I can come back on to this little hot girl glow up podcast and tell you that I made it. Okay, so swipe right on the guy if he comes to you first. We are not chasing men in 2024. 2024. We are not chasing men. No, okay. Yes, we're not chasing men in 2024, but let's start now. Okay, let's not talk about the future. We're not chasing men in 2023. Okay, you are a valuable woman. You are a high value woman. You are working on yourself. You are smart. You can do anything you want. Don't settle for less. I mean, obviously, if you meet a guy and you're friends with him, that's one thing. But if there's two people, I honestly think it just works better if you make him chase you, because I think a lot of men, and again, unpopular opinion, but in my experience, like really like the fact that they like came on to you first and like they tried to get that. And like one of the things that I think I regret the most about my relationship with Zachary is I really wanted to rush into things and like make him commit right away, and I wanted to skip the dating phase, the courting phase, or whatever. And now, after like being in such a long-term relationship, I wish, because I know that would have been my last time to do it as in like dating. I would have liked to slow things down and let him take me on dates, let him initiate stuff like that, which he wanted to do. And I just was like, no, I want you to commit. I want this to be a long-term thing right now, even though we hardly dating. So don't do that. Take it slow, because you never know, that person you're dating might be it for you, and then you don't want to look back, and because if you're going to be with this person forever, it's going to be forever. You have plenty of time to get to those milestones. Slow down and enjoy it. Take the time to really explore the person and let them pursue you, because it's really nice to feel pursued. In that relationship, like that aspect at the beginning, of course, will fizzle out as time goes on, and that's like those memories are going to be what you look back on and like smile about. Obviously, there's a lot to be happy about now, but like, you know what I mean. So I would like, my suggestion is, like, swipe right on the guy that takes initiative, and don't try to force things, and try to take initiative in terms of like making your relationship go faster than it needs to be. Pick with his mom. If he has a pick with his mom, I think that's so cute. I think men, how they treat their mothers is a great indication of how they're going to treat you. And if you were with someone who is like treating their mom horribly, I would run in the other direction. And okay, finally, if he plans the dates, I love someone who can take, again, like the initiative, but planning things. It takes a lot of time to plan something. But when someone takes the time to say, hey, I want to take you out. I know what you like. I've listened to you, and I remember you saying that you really wanted to go to this one Italian restaurant. I'm going to take you there. That is so nice because you get to feel relaxed in your feminine energy, because us women, especially as self-development girlies, will plan everything all the time. We constantly wake up. We're women with plan. We have to-do lists like crazy. And I know you probably feel the same way. So having someone who takes that initiative and is like, I'm going to take you out and I'm going to plan it. It is so nice. And obviously it's a give and take, like everything is. But I think that is so attractive, and that's a quality that I definitely look for. And I would suggest like you pay a little bit of attention to too. Can they take the initiative? Do they ask you out? Do they plan dates sometimes? Because it feels so nice to not constantly have to ask someone, let's hang out. You want to find someone who wants you to hang out with them and asks you too, hey, I want to go out with you. I want to spend time with you. If you're constantly the one that's begging them for attention or spend time with you, that's a big red flag. Okay, is he long-term relationship material? What are the deal breakers? Okay, I'm going to list this off in a speed dating episode. These are the dating deal breakers. If your core values conflict, if you have very different political opinions, if you hate his family, or if his family hates yours, or he doesn't like your family, and you love your family. If he does not argue well, if he is screaming, if he cannot communicate his emotions, no, deal breaker. If you want different things in your long-term plan. Now, with that being said, things can change. So you might get in a relationship with someone who wants to be a dad, and then 5 years down the road, that changes, and that sucks. But if someone right away is telling you that everything that you've always wanted and dreamed of, like that's not in the books for them, it's not going to be in the books for you if you choose to be with that. And like going back to loving yourself, you need to put yourself first, and you need to like own your own dreams and be true to yourself, and don't settle for someone that you know you won't be able to reach your high potential or like what you want for yourself. And especially if they're being honest about it. The ability to balance. It is a deal breaker if he cannot balance life, he cannot balance you, and he doesn't prioritize you. If they don't have empathy. And finally, if they're proven to be untrustworthy. Trust is huge in a relationship, and if they're already untrustworthy, run. I feel like a great example of like dating deal breakers or just what not to do is Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City. People love her. Unpopular opinion, I think she's the worst character ever. I love her fashion sense, don't get me wrong, but she picks really bad men. Mr. Big has many times, and if you have not watched Sex and the City, I'll try to explain this in a way where you'll still understand. Mr. Big is a character that has been upfront with her that he's been divorced once, and he does not want a long-term relationship, does not want anything serious, he is not a good guy, and he's said that to her on many occasions, and she continuously goes back to this guy expecting to change him, but she's not true to herself, thinking like, oh, this is what I expect him to change. She just thinks, oh, it's low-key, like I can handle it, but she doesn't realize that she's not fully healed, so she's damaging herself and preventing herself from growing and progressing for literally many seasons, even progresses into the movies, and she ends up finding an amazing guy who has all the qualities that I've spoke of that are good. He was great. He treated her so well. He treated her like a princess. He was respectable. He was trustworthy. He had empathy. He came in and like built her furniture and stripped her floors on a weekend and treated her with so much respect. And he was a fun guy. He wanted to do things, just like an all-around stand-up guy. And you know what she did? She went and cheated on him with the one and only Mr. Big. So if you're looking for like a really good, like relatable TV show, definitely check out Sex in the City. It's on Crave. But this is what I'm talking about in terms of deal breakers. Anything that is like a Mr. Big vibes is a deal breaker. If a man tells you, I do not want a relationship, he does not want a relationship. And I'm sorry. Like, I know that's like so harsh, but I feel like some women, we need to sometimes like hear it from someone else. And I think a lot of us, and I struggle with this too, to tell your friends, like, girl, this is so bad for you. Like, you see, like, I'm sure you've seen a friend or spoke with a friend who is in a thing and you know it's just so unhealthy for her and not good, but it's so hard to tell them that. And even if you try to do it in a nice way, they just don't get it. And to some extent, I think people just need to figure that out on their own. I sure did, and I wasn't going to listen to anyone. And I think that's just like a part of life, and not to not like jeopardize a good friendship over it. But like to some extent, I think that like I have to be a bit of the bad guy because I want you guys to grow and to love yourself, and I want to help your self-growth journey. And if someone is like straight up telling you that they don't want you, that they don't want a long-term relationship, and that, or anything that conflicts with like what you want, like please just listen to them and find another guy. There's going to be so many other guys. You have so much time. Regardless of your age, you can still find somebody. So just don't settle for less. Please, if you take anything away from this episode, let it be this. But I thought this would be a fun little segment to do like a dump him ifs. So without further ado, let's get into it. Dump him if he makes you beg for your attention. If he puts you in your masculine energy 24/7, if he makes you plan everything, if he makes you pay for everything, if he makes you do literally everything, drive, take the initiative on everything, plan the dates, etc., why are you in a relationship? Just no, dump him. Dump him if he has no communication skills. How are you to make a long-term relationship work if you cannot communicate with each other? There's a difference between struggling with communication because you've been through something traumatic and communicating that, and just genuinely not even trying, and someone who just is unwilling to communicate with you. Girl, dump him. Dump him if he does not support you, if he does not support your interests, if he does not support you doing things on your own, your self-care, your career, whatever means a lot to you. If he does not support that, dump him. Dump him if he makes you feel bad about yourself or your body. No. The best thing, one of the many amazing things about my boyfriend is he has a shared interest in content creation, and he doesn't make me feel bad for it. I'm the type of person my whole life has wanted to take Insta pics, wanted to take videos, wanted to vlog wherever I'm doing, and a lot of guys can't handle that. They don't like that. They think it's obnoxious, which is fine on their end. That's true to themselves, but it would make me feel bad, and I would dull my sparkle and dull who I was, or didn't wear pink, or didn't wear dresses all the time, or would not wear makeup out occasions because I didn't want the guys would think I'm being too much. But having a boyfriend that just lets me be who I am and supports that no matter what, it is so good. For instance, like when I got my haircut, I walked in, and I feel like most people would say, they would pick up that you're upset about it being short, but he did not do that. Most people, I think the stereotypical, a bad boyfriend answer, which you should dump him is if he's like, oh my God, it looks horrible, why would you do that? It makes you feel bad about yourself, dump him. I feel like a middle ground answer would be like, it's okay, it's gonna grow back. Do you marry him answer is what Zach told me, and he told me, oh my gosh, you look so sexy. He was like, come here, you look gorgeous. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you like this forever. And I was crying, I was so upset. And he was like, no, look, I've always seen you the same, for 4.5 years with long hair. And I've never seen you like this. So it's so exciting to me to get to look at you and see it. And you can see your face more. And it's just so exciting. This is a good thing. You should be happy about this. It's just hair. It's not a serious thing. It looks so hot. And it made me feel so good, because opposed to be like, oh, it's going to grow back. It's okay. Where you kind of just know that answer means they hate it too. He made me feel so good about myself. And that is just a thing where I want you to feel that, and you can feel that with someone, and don't settle for someone who just definitely dump him if he makes you feel bad about yourself. But even think about not settling for someone who's just so. You want to be with someone who's going to make you feel beautiful no matter what. And like I said earlier in this episode, it didn't matter if I was 170 pounds when Zach and I first started dating, and he never once made me feel any different. I felt just as beautiful back then, maybe not internally, hence why I started my glow up journey, and then why I created this podcast. But he made me feel just as beautiful at the very beginning, when I was at my worst mentally and my lowest physically, as I am now, and I would probably say I'm at my best physically and mentally. So there's someone out there for you who's going to make you feel beautiful no matter what you look like, who you are. They're going to love you for who you are. And it's going to make you feel so happy that I think often when you're with someone who's so great like that and makes you feel like your best self, you want to be your best self with them. And you can encourage each other to grow. And you can do that individually as well. You don't need to dump a long-term partner if you want to work on yourself, if you want to heal, if you want to become a better person. If you find the right person, you can absolutely grow as an individual with them, because you are still you. You are an individual no matter what. At the end of this life, you die alone. You don't bring that person with you. I mean, unless it was a dramatic event, which I probably shouldn't say that, but regardless, what I'm trying to say is just being with a partner, being a mom, or having a best friend, it doesn't make you any different from who you are, if that makes sense. Okay, and finally, dump him if he controls you and has absolutely no boundaries. He can't respect your boundaries. Absolutely not. If a guy is trying to say, you can't wear that, you can't go here, blah blah blah, no, red flag. You don't want to spend your whole life fighting or not doing the things you want to do because someone is trying to control you. There's also a difference I would like to say about controlling and looking out for someone, which I'll talk on a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. And of course, boundaries. If he does not respect boundaries that you've communicated, regardless of what they are, dump him. Love yourself more. Okay, so what makes a healthy relationship? Let me give you the secrets. Shared interest. This is so nice. If you have something you can bond with, whatever it is, I think that makes the best relationships. Like the people who have the best relationships out of all my friends have one or multiple very like niche, similar interests. And it's so good to find someone who like you really like something that most people think is weird or like they don't understand. And you find someone that understands that. You just feel like you found your person. And you can definitely love someone who you don't have any shared interest just with, because I believe unpopular opinion, I know I say this a lot, I feel like I have a lot of unpopular opinions, but I think you can almost fall in love with anyone, but love doesn't mean it's right, because you can love someone because of just sheer closeness to them. Like for instance, when we're born into families, like why do you love your parents? Because they're your dad, they're your mom, like you love them, right? And I feel like you can grow to love anyone as long as they're like somewhat good of a person, just by like spending a lot of time around them. Like if you spend 20 years with the person, live with the person, I think you grow to love them because you are comfortable, and it's that like the closeness, you're part of your routine and you love the routine. As humans, I think like it's the psychology of it. But there's a difference between like love and like the like romantic love, for you, in my opinion. And I think that's what a lot of people get wrong, and I think that's why a lot of relationships don't work out, is because we stay with people or we marry people because we think we love them, and we do love them, but we don't love them for the right reasons. So I think when we're considering like love, we have to really think about like what type of love is it, and why do you love that person? Do you love that person because they're hot, because they're funny, whatever, or do you love that person because of who they are and who they allow you to be? And I think like that, like considering the quality and the type of love is something that's really, really important. Another quality of healthy relationship is space, which is the topic that's going to come up soon, which is how to keep your independence in relationships. But I think that's so important. Like you should have your space, and he should have his space too. It is so crucial, not only because like you come back and you're like excited and you have other things to do, like talk about, oh my gosh, how was your weekend, whatever, like when you go out with your girlfriends, but space is just so important so you can work on you. And again, like I think in this life, like we need to consistently be striving to be the best versions of ourselves and to try and become better humans and heal from everything that we go through, because life can be so hard. And I think that sometimes the only time we can truly heal is when we're alone with our thoughts and we have space. Unconditional love is so important in a healthy relationship, knowing that you can come to that person and tell them anything, and they're gonna, even if it's something that you did that was wrong, they'll tell you it's wrong, because unconditional love is also about holding someone accountable, but in a way that's like, I'm not going to leave you for the littlest thing. Like if someone's constantly threatening to break up with you over everything, like that is not a good sign. Please just don't stay in that relationship, because how are you going to make it through? If you are fighting and like being like threatened about being broken up with in a 1 to 5 year relationship before you even have kids and live together, like no, I'm sorry. Like again, I'm going back to like hard love, like the movie, like girlie's just not that into you. Like how are you gonna make it through the hardest parts of life if like when you're supposed to be at your peak, it is your worst? And with that being said, like when I first dated Zach, the hardest part about our relationship was honestly at the beginning, and then it just was like, it was like we were young, we were kind of like, we almost met each other so many different times throughout the last 20 years. We didn't, and it was almost like we met when it was the right time, but it wasn't the right time just yet. And we just needed to get through, like work on ourselves a little bit to finally find that perfect harmony and balance. So I persevered for the first month. I shouldn't say persevered, but it was the hardest in the first month, and now it's so smooth sailing. So I'm not saying like if it's hard, leave, and that's another quality of a healthy relationship, if they're going to persevere and stick with you. But what I mean by that, or what I mean by unconditional love, is just loving you no matter what, and like not threatening to leave you. You know that no matter what you do, that person's going to be there for you. You call them up in the middle of the night because your car breaks down, they're going to show up for you, like someone that shows up for you, and vice versa. All of these, everything I talk about in terms of a good healthy relationship goes the same way. Us as women need to be doing the same thing for our partners. Perseverance, which I already talked about a little bit too, but you know, knowing that someone's going to like be through that hard stuff, and they know like this is a hard time, like we are stressed out, but we are going to persevere. Like I have learned like the importance of having a partner that perseveres so much in the last year and a half with living with Zachary. It's hard living with someone and adjusting. I live in a 700 square foot condo, and we are both so ambitious. He comes home from work and he works long days, as do I, but I work from home. We both want to do content creation. I want to work out. I want to have a beautifully clean house. I want to have time for my self-care. I want to have time with each other. I don't want to watch like a show at the end of the night. There's not enough time in the day. I don't know how parents do it, genuinely. And he has his own hobbies and his own activities and his own things. Like for self-development too. So it was really a struggle trying to figure out just the amount of time, like how do we prioritize time together. So it's a funny topic about like how to prioritize yourself in a relationship, because I feel like it comes so naturally to us, and what's hard for us is prioritizing like genuine relationship time, not just like, oh, let's have dinner and we're in the same space, but like romantic like dates again, and keeping that up, because that's where I'm at. But I think like that's important. And respect is like, if you don't respect the person you're with, like it's just not going to work out, and vice versa. Respect is everything. Okay, now hear me out on this. Roles, and I don't mean gender roles, because Zach cooks, and I feel like that's a stereotypical female gender role. Cooking, Zach cooks, I clean, and that works for us. And I think having a role determined in a relationship, or even just like a defined task, is what I'm trying to say, is really beneficial, because we know what's going on at all times. We have a routine set. We automate it. I know Zach is going to cook us dinner every night, bless his soul. And he knows that I'm going to do the cleaning, because I like to clean. He likes to cook. So having those roles in our relationship helps us keep our balance, because we know what is our like almost like responsibilities in a way. And I think that is very nice. And if that might not work, what works for me might not work for you. And that goes for any of these tips. But I found like having roles in my relationship helps, it just improved it. Okay, now the juicy topic. How do you keep your independence and be the hot, amazing woman that you are in a relationship? Well, let me tell you, I have the secrets. Number one is my most favorite important topic, and that is solo dates. Girl, get yourself on a solo date. If you are a returning listener and you have not been on a solo date, please, I need you to do it. Start small, go to a little coffee shop with a little book, do it. Solo dates are so important, especially I'm going to hold myself to this when I'm a mother, because I find getting out of the house and away from it all is so important to feel like you again. And I think in order for us to feel like ourselves, like sometimes we just need to be alone. And if you live with someone, or if you live with multiple people, you need sometimes to be alone. And that means, like, I guess it can go into your bedroom, but it could be booking a hotel for a night if you have the money. A hotel solo date for one night. Oh my goodness. If you have never done that, you need to just slowly, $20 every paycheck, save it up until you can afford to go. If you are struggling with that, it is life-changing. Bring your little bathrobe with you, book a little nice, like one with a hot tub, or maybe even like a breakfast, order yourself Uber Eats into the room, have a little spa day, read, do the things that you just want to do for one night only, have a little solo date, take that time for you, and then you're going to come back to your relationship and you're going to feel refreshed, you're going to feel amazing, and they're going to like it too, because your man or whomever you are dating or who you're trying to attract, they're going to pick up on that energy and they want you to be happy. And when you're happy, when you're like a vibrant woman, like they pick up on that, they relax, they like it, they react to that feminine energy, and they're able to give you more in return. Join clubs, join workout classes, go to events, do things for you that align with your interests. Schedule in time for you. And honestly, sometimes I think you should, if you're like not super serious, make sure you schedule him in and pose the other way around. If you are just starting out dating a guy, don't spend every single night with him and just be like, well, one night I need to take my time for myself. No, schedule him into your life, because at the end of the day, like, you need to love yourself and prioritize that too. And I honestly think a lot of guys won't have problems with this in my experience, because they have to do their own things too, because going back to like wanting to date an ambitious high value man, I think they also have a lot of things they want to do, and they're not just like playing video games all day long in their basement. So I think that wouldn't be a problem, but make time for you constantly. Every single day, I make time for myself. I have like a little hour of self-care, whether it be working out or like watching a TV show on my own. And Zach does the same thing. Actually, after this podcast, he's going to go and stream, like doing his content stuff as I am filming this now. It's like my part of my solo time. So it's important to take that time for yourself and make sure you schedule it in. If you are one that struggles with like time management, schedule in dates with yourself or solo time into your planner. Communicate. Sometimes it's hard to, especially when you start living with someone or you're just dating them, to tell them like, hey, I love you and I really like you, but I need time to be on my own. Like, I'm not doing anything tonight, but I really just want to spend time with myself. And I know it feels selfish, and I feel selfish for saying that, but I need that. Like, if you need your time, don't feel bad for telling that person that you need that. Like, that's a boundary for you, and you should tell that to them and communicate with them, and they will respect it. They should, if they're good. I'm not dump them, sis, but that is so important. You need to own that, and like, don't feel guilty. I know when I first moved in with my boyfriend, I felt so bad about feeling like, I was like, I live with this person, but why do I want to be on my own sometimes? And I feel like, is this wrong? But it's not. And honestly, like, once I communicated, Zach was like, I feel the exact same way. And then it was so freeing. So communicate your needs. Do not let someone change what you want. And a good way of continuously keeping yourself accountable to knowing what you want, and that making sure that's not a reflection of the people you surround yourself with, is journaling. Write your hopes, write your dreams, write your feelings down, even if it's a 5-minute journal, even if it's something on your notes app, journal or self-reflect. I love going for silent walks. So I go out for like 10 minutes, and if I have a lot going on in my mind, I just will go out, and I won't bring my phone because I live in a safe neighborhood. I will go in the daytime, but bring your phone if you're alone or whatever, like, just for safety, I guess. But I don't listen to music, and I go and just think and reflect on like whatever it is in the moment. Like, what is my purpose of creating content, or like, what do I want in my life? Like, what is my 5-year plan? And I just like reconnect with myself, and I go on that silent walk for like 10 minutes wherever I need to clear my head, and I think through of like where I am at my life. Like, I can do that. Like, go on your silent walk. These are your steps. Okay, go on a silent walk. Think of, where am I at currently? Where do I want to be? How can I get there? Am I currently setting myself up and doing the habits that are going to get me to the place I want to be? And how am I going to live my best life while being my authentic self that I just laid out for myself, while also trying to make time for other people, if that makes sense? So like, figure out what you want, figure out how you're gonna get there, and figure out how you're gonna balance it all. And that's what I basically do on my little walks. Keep up with your self-care. So take your baths, wash your hair, girl, wash your face, get a haircut. Power of a haircut, so powerful. You feel so new, like a new woman. Do your nails, whatever that means for you. Knit, whatever your self-care is, do that. When you take care of yourself, you are going to be a better woman for yourself, for your friends, for work, and for your partner as well. Because if you take care of yourself, you're going to be happy, you're going to be relaxed. And a happy, relaxed woman in her feminine energy, everyone loves to be around. See your girls. It's so important to see your girls. See them, love them, have a great time, have girls' nights. That's so important to keep your independence with you, but also just being reminded that you have so many more people outside of your relationship. And that's important just to make sure that, like, if you're in a bad one, like, you're not alone, but also just because it's fun to be around other people. Dating the right person will make your independence and your own self-love easy. They're going to encourage it. They're going to want to make sure you make time for yourself. They're going to make time for themselves too, which frees up more time for you. And if you're struggling to find the independence in a relationship, or just like make time for you because you feel like you constantly have to be tied to that person, you're self-reliant on them, you think that like you can only be happy around them, I think you need to go to like step number 1, with just like self-love and like healing that first. And again, you can heal yourself when you're in a relationship. You do not need to break up with someone who is healthy to heal yourself, but go back to just like working on yourself, figuring out what you want, and just nurturing you and your own desires. Okay, and finally, let's share my dating tips. Okay, hot girl dating tip, sandwich method. Obviously, there's going to be things that annoy us about our partners. That's normal. But this works wonders. Instead of going and saying, hey, I hate when you leave your dirty socks on the floor, that's going to feel like an attack to them. Instead, this works with friendships and all types of relationships, not just romantic relationships. Sandwich method. So the bun is a compliment, right? The first little thing. Say, hey, I love that you always take care of the house. Like, you do a really good job trying to keep up with like our chores, and like you always get them done or whatever. Like, I really appreciate that, and I see that and respect that. Sandwich, bun. Then you go to the patty, like the meat, like, which is why you're here. You're showing up, you're RSVPing to the argument, but you're not. And that is the patty. So tell them what you actually mean. But I really would appreciate it if you take your socks and put them in the laundry bin, because it's frustrating me. And then you end it with, and at the final patty, or the final bun, this is the Big Mac. If you have 2 compliments that you want to, or 2 little beefs that you want to pick up with them. Hey, it's like a sandwich because it's the beef. Oh my God, maybe that's why they call it the sandwich method. Oh my gosh, it's fine. Regardless, the little bottom bun is a little nice little compliment in there again. So you say, but I know that you are working on this, or I say, I really respect that you're so open to letting me talk to you about these things. Like, I love you so much. So again, sandwich method, a compliment, the beef, and another compliment, because then they're going to walk away from it being like, wow, they value me, and I feel like they really were nice about that. I want to do that for them. Instead of just like coming off instantly aggressive, that is how you can get what you want. Try the sandwich method. I can promise you, like 99% of the time, this will work with a guy. It has worked wonders in my relationship. Try it. Like, please go back to it. And it's so hard because sometimes you just want to be like, pick up your darn socks off the floor. This is going to be so intense in a YouTube episode. I feel like I talk with my hands, like when I film it. I look crazy. But hopefully I sound good. Most people watch or listen, so... but instead of trying to be aggressive, try the sandwich approach. Okay, next, communicate your desires. That can work wonders. Simply just saying like, I would love to be able to go on a date. It's been a really long time since we had a date night, and I miss you, and I want to reconnect with you. Like, I would love it if you took me on a date. They're going to think that. Or even as simple as like, oh my goodness, I would love to try this new Italian restaurant. And if you just like make that known, I feel like a lot of guys will pick up on that and like be like, they want to make you happy. They want to please you. They want to see a happy, relaxed woman. And because they feel relaxed when they're around that. And I think a lot of times like just simply communicating will also work a lot of wonders. Okay, and finally, if someone hasn't told you recently, I would swipe right on you. Like 100%. You are smart. You are great. If you made it to the end of this episode, you have great taste, obviously, hopefully in partners, but and in podcasts. So thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you liked this episode. It was requested. So if you have any other podcast requests, let me know. I will 100% make them. Hopefully this was helpful to you. I tried to make this fun. I feel like I went on for a little bit long, but hopefully it was still valuable and you got some great tips and you're ready to go out there and date or like make your relationship the happiest, best relationship it can be and attract the best partner for you and love you, because I would swipe right on you. So don't forget, make sure you would swipe right on yourself. That is the premise of today's episode. Swipe right on you. Choose you. Love you. And the rest will come. I promise you. No matter where you are in life, no matter what you want, you think you can't find that person, you think it's never going to happen for you, it will once you choose to swipe right. Not on anyone else, but on yourself. Cheesy, but I know. So I hope this is great. I hope you like this episode and inspired you to get up and glow. If you liked it and you like me, please leave me a review. I was going to say 5-star, but if you don't want to, it's fine. You can just leave me any review because it helps in the algorithm. But I'm not looking forward to the day when I inevitably I will get a bad review because I'm not everyone's cup of tea, because that's how the world works. And I will cry, but I will learn from it regardless. Please leave me a review because I will be so happy when I read them. And follow me on Instagram at the Get Up and Glow podcast or my personal account, which is Madison.Haynes. And if you want to see more daily content and daily vlogs from me, head on over to the TikTok, which is at the Get Up and Glow podcast. I'm doing my 12-day glow up series, so glow up with me in sustainable, fun ways that are healthy. And without further ado, I hope you have a lovely week. I will see you on the next episode of the Get Up and Glow podcast. But until then, stay lovely. Bye.